skills. So presentation skills is something that is required in every organization. Wherever you will go, you will need presentation skills. So some people think that great speakers are born. That is true to some extent. But it is not true that you cannot be a great speaker. There are great speakers who are made, who are self-made with some training, with some practice. So there isn't, you cannot say that there is some such thing that as an innate ability, that people have an innate ability to stand in front of an audience where they will have no anxiety and they'll just give a good, wonderful presentation. So people we consider great speakers, they usually have spent years developing and practicing their skills. They had to start at the beginning and they had to learn the basics of organization, preparation, delivery, and they had to learn that how they have to deal with the anxiety. So once the basics were in their hand, they were able to continue with their basic, they were able to build their abilities. So like professional players, you also need a lot of practice to be a good, excellent speaker or to be a good presenter. So howsoever good knowledge you have, whatsoever you are going to present, unless you are not going to present it in an effective manner, it's not going to be successful. So in order to be an effective presenter, you need to learn some tips that are going to help you to better deliver your message. In this particular presentation, we will look at these things. We have some self-assessment tasks for you which will help you determine that what is your current level of competency for giving a presentation. Then this particular session will give you some suggestions to reduce anxiety and some tips for PowerPoint presentations and some tips for dressing and body language as well. Then there are activities as well. So we begin by it. You might have also heard, dear students, that there isn't any such thing as presentation talent. So you always have heard the word presentation skills. So it means that these are the skills that you can develop. Skill is something that you can develop by practice, which can be acquired. Talent is something which is inborn. So it means that presentation skills can be learned. You can master the skill by practice and by following some of the strategies and tips. So see here, there is the first section of our today's session. It is that you have to assess your current presentation skills. So now it's a questionnaire which has been taken from the book of Mendel. The reference is given in the end as well. So there is a question here that you have to fill. You may take 5 minutes approximately to do this, fill out this questionnaire. You have to be honest while you are answering this question, because you are not going to share your score with anyone else. That will be for your own good. So for your own sake, for your own for your own self, that you will try to be effective presenter for your own self. So you have to fill this questionnaire honestly and see how you have to do this. That obviously 5 marks are for always and 4 marks that you don't do very often. So most of the time you can say 3 is for neutral and 2 you can say is for sometimes and 1 is for never. So please read the statements and then circle the number that best describes you. So these are the questions. Here are 12 questions on this particular slides, and then there are few questions on the next slide as well. So when you are doing this, filling this questionnaire, I recommend you that you guys should have a notebook and a pen with you in your hands. You should number the statement. So for example, you should write number 1 and then you should write your score in front of it, whether it's 4 or 3 or 5 or 2 or 1, whatever is your score according to you. Because in the end I'll tell you the method to calculate your score, and this will also tell you about your current presentation skills level. So you have your time, you may take 5 minutes to do this. So after 3 minutes I'll move to the next slide, because there are certain questions on the next slide as well. Dear students, I hope you would have completed this question here by now. And now you have to make a total of your score. You obviously have to add all the numbers that you got in each of the question. So for example, 4 plus 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, this is how you are going to add your total score. So add your total score, take a few minutes to add your total score quickly, and then see here that's you can check your score here. So if you scored between 80 to 95, you are an accomplished speaker who simply needs to maintain basic skills through practice. It means you are very good if you got 80 to 95% score, 80 to 95 marks. If your total score was between 60 to 80, you have the potential to become a highly effective presenter, but still there is some room for the improvement. If your score was between 40 and 60, you need to improve significantly. And if your scored between 30 and 40, you should show some dramatic improvement with practice. It means that you still have a lot of chance to improve, and you should show some dramatic improvement. If your total was below 30, now it means that you really need to make an effort to progress, but it does not matter that you cannot be an excellent speaker. You still can be an excellent speaker, but only if you try. Now we will move on. We have another activity for you. Now it's your fourth semester, MA education students, fourth semester. Now obviously up till now you would have given at about 15 to 20 presentations, because in each semester you get a chance to present for 5 subjects at least. So at least you would have given 15 to 17 presentations. So now you again have to note down the answers to these questions on your notebook. It's this particular activity, this self-assessment activity, is sort of going to check that what do you need to improve. So we need to see what do you need to improve. If we really want to make a progress, we need to see what do we actually want. So look at this question. What is your experience of giving presentations? You have given 15 presentations or less, and what do you like about it? So what do you like personally about your presentation? Is it your speaking style? Is it your content? Is it your confidence? So think about other things. So you may like something about yourself. Obviously there are certain good things about each person, each presenter. Any presenter is not totally, you can say not totally a bad presenter. There are some good points in each of the presenter. Then what do you dislike about it? There would be some points that you would want to improve. So write down those points before you move on. Will you need to present in the future? Of course, I think being a student, most of you would have an answer to this question as yes. That being a student you will need to present in future, and plus you will have to go in the professional life where you will have to present on daily basis. So then after, when you are done with this, you have to choose 5 features from each list. So you have to choose features from this list, the things that you like and the things that you dislike. So the things that you dislike, these are important to avoid, and the things that you like, it means that these can be fostered further, that you can develop these skills further. So you need to make it clear what you need to improve and what you already have, and you can further polish it. So once you are done with it, we will move on. So I recommend that everyone should do this activity, and only then should you move on. So now here is this word anxiety. That this is the word that disturbs us all. It is actually a natural state that exists anytime we are placed under stress. Whenever you will be stressed, you will actually feel anxious. So giving a presentation will normally cause some stress. When this type of stress occurs, many physiological changes can take place that may cause you to be nervous, and you may have nervous stomach, or you may start sweating, or there may be some tremors in the hands and legs, and there can be also accelerated breathing, or there can be an increased heart rate as well. So if you are facing all of these symptoms, then, or even any of these systems, then don't worry at all, because these systems are just normal. If none of these happen to you, then congratulations, you are one in a million, then, which is rare. But if any of these things like nervous stomachs, sweating, or accelerated breathing, or increased heart rate, any of these things, if it happens to you, then it means you are just a normal human being, just a normal presenter. So almost everyone experiences some sort of stress before presentation, and this is not what I am saying only, this is what generally research studies say, that almost everyone experiences some stress, some anxiety before presentations. So even if the task is something simple, so you actually can deal with this anxiety. In this particular section, we will discuss in detail that how can you deal with the anxiety successfully. So the first point that you can see on your screens is organize your material. Organize your material will give you confidence. So lack of organization is actually one of the major causes of anxiety. Knowing that your thoughts are well organized, it will give you more confidence. It will allow you to focus energy into your presentation. Just imagine that you have to give a presentation on, let's suppose, in July, or let's suppose on any day you have to give a presentation, and on the day of presentation you come to know, oh my god, this thing is not organized, or multimedia is not arranged, that thing is not well here, my material is not with me. So you come across, you actually discover a lot of things which were not managed before, which were not organized before. You discover that your handouts are not ready, or you discover that some of your presenter group member is not coming, or maybe is coming late. So organizing your material includes not only organizing your presentation material, but it also includes organizing the whole the presentation as a whole. It includes organizing everything that you will need, everything that you are going to need during the presentation, that should be well organized and managed before time. The second thing is visualize yourself delivering a successful presentation. Now you have to imagine that you are walking into a room, you are being introduced, or you are introducing yourself, and then you are delivering your presentation with enthusiasm. You are fielding the questions with confidence, and you are leaving the room that knowing you did a great job. So you actually have to visualize yourself. If visualizing actually means that you are going to put yourself into that situation. So if you are visualizing or thinking like, I am not a good presenter, I won't be able to give a good presentation, then obviously it is going to affect your performance, and you don't want to want anything to affect your performance. So in order to be successful, we need to think about the success as well. We need to improve our image in our own point of view. So in our image, in our own perceptions should also be improved. So you have to mentally rehearse the sequence of your presentation with all the details, and you have to try to focus on everything that you need to do a successful presentation. So the most important thing is that you have to visualize. Here I will also recommend you to read a book that is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. He says that your subconscious mind always influences your conscious mind. So if you are thinking, if you have an image of yourself that you cannot present good or you lack confidence, then obviously it is going to affect your conscious actions that you are going to carry out in your daily life. So try saying that I can do this, and you will really see the results. So the next point is rehearse by standing up and using all of the visual aids. So I have seen many students that when they are rehearsing the presentation, rehearsing according to them is cramming their presentation content. They're just cramming their content that they have written by heart. So this does not mean rehearsing. So rehearsing should be practiced while you are standing up and you are using all of your visual aids. So you have to stand up and practice as if an audience is in front of you, and you have to use your visual aids as well. For example, if you have to present in the multimedia room, so try to practice there beforehand. If that room is not available, at least try to practice on the dice. Try to imagine, try to practice in the class, in an empty classroom at least, where you are going to present. So it is recommended that at least 2 dress rehearsals should be done before your actual presentation. And if possible, you should ask somebody to critique your first or your second presentation as well, or you may ask anyone to videotape your presentation as well, any of your friend or any your sibling, because only then you are going to know that what points do I need to improve. Do I need to improve my body language? Do I need to improve my voice? What do I need to improve? So complete dress up rehearsals are also recommended. You might have seen the students who take part in debates and speeches, and you would see that they actually rehearse a lot, because they know that they have to present in front of a huge audience, and winning or losing matters for them. So when you are actually presenting, you should also do a same level of rehearsal. You see that generally the debates or speeches, they are only for 4 to 5 minutes maximum, not more than this. And for 4 to 5 minutes, students or those who actually participate in those competitions, they have to rehearse for weeks, and only practice gives them the results. So to see good results, obviously you have to work harder. The next point is breathe deeply just prior to speaking and during your presentation. This is a therapy that is going to relax you mentally and physically as well. You might have seen people that they breathe deeply in the morning as an exercise, as a part of the exercise. It actually relaxes your body, it relaxes your muscles, it relaxes your mind as well. So when your muscles will tighten, you will feel nervous during the presentation or before the presentation. So you may not be breathing deeply enough. This is why it happens. So to fix it up, the first thing that you need to do is to sit up and then relax, and then inhale deeply a number of times. Inhale air a number of times, and your posture should be relaxed. So you should sit in a relaxed posture and inhale air deeply and then exhale it. So you need to breathe deeply, and you will experience that it is actually going to relax you. The next point is move when you speak to when you speak to stay relaxed and natural. So when you are actually going to move during the presentation, that is going to make you more confident, because if you are just going to stand at one place, you are just standing like a statue, not showing any body movement and not moving towards your audience, then it is going to keep you tensed. You will feel nervous and tense. To stay relaxed and to act natural, you need to move towards the audience as well. So when you will move, your muscles will relax, they will get flexed, and your tension will be released. So generally upper body movement is important, but moving your feet can also release your tension. You should be able to take a few steps, either to side or towards the audience. You can either walk towards the audience or side to side as well. But remember that it should not show confusion. So it should be a composed, confident movement. So speakers who generally stand in just one place and they don't show gestures, they experience more tension. So it is recommended that you should move when you are speaking, when you are presenting. And it will also draw the attention of your audience towards you. Eye contact. Next point is that maintain good eye contact with your audience. And so it is also very important. We are going to talk about it in our coming slides as well. We have some tips that how should we have this eye contact. But here to elaborate this, I would just say that when you are having an eye contact with your audience, you will feel that you are not isolated from the audience. If you are not having eye contact, you will feel like you are isolated and everybody is staring at you. So the best solution is that you look at them, you make an eye contact with the audience. In this way, you will not feel that audience is staring at you. So you should try to connect with them. And how can you feel that you are connected with them? If you are looking into their eyes. So you can also see that, so sometimes you can look into one individual's eye, sometimes you can look into another individual's eye, but you have to maintain good eye contact in order to connect with your audience. And last point, but not at all the least, never the least one, it's the practice makes perfect. Only practice is going to make you perfect. You need to practice all these points. You need to keep these in mind. Then you need to practice these in your rehearsals and in your real presentations as well. Now we will move on. Now we will talk about these three things. Now what are these three things? Before we move on, I will read a quote of Stephen King. Stephen King says that audience are likely to remember only three things from your presentation or speech. So they are not going to remember all the content that you are going to speak there for 5 to 10 minutes. It means you need to make few things very important and impressive that the audience is going to remember those things. Now, here is an activity for you again. If your audience could remember only three things about your presentation, what would you want it to be? What would be your wish that what should audience remember about your presentation? So you should note down those 3 points before your presentation, and then you should focus on your presentation. So for example, you can want that your audience should remember your dressing, your speaking style, your content, and maybe there can be a lot of other things that you want. So you need to write all the things first, and then you need to select only 3 points that you want your audience to remember when you are going back to your seat or when you are leaving the room. So select those 3 points before your presentation, and then you need to focus on those 3 points. Now here on this slide you can see some of the usual steps which are recommended for making any presentation. So the first step is that you have to research your topic well. So researching your topic well will actually give you confidence. So if you are well prepared, it is going to give you confidence to speak about the content that you are going to present. It is recommended that you prepare it well and you have a good command over the content. Then organize it well. There should be sequence. In our first lecture on presentation that was shared earlier, so it was lecture 1 of the same course. In that particular lecture, we had talked about organization in detail, that how it should be organized. So when you are organizing your content, it can be organized either chronologically, it can be either organized logically, it can be organized in different ways. There can be cause-effect relation. So it depends on your topic. So whichever way you present it, it should be presented in a well-organized way. Then you need to practice it. We discussed some of the strategies that you can use to deal with your stress or anxiety. You need to look presentable as well. So it shouldn't be that you are coming for the presentation in just casual dressing or in just in some dress which is not going to attract people, which is not looking formal. So we are going to talk about dressing in detail in the coming slides as well. So then here is keep eye contact. Keeping eye contact, we have already discussed that you need to keep an eye contact with the audience in order to feel that you are connected with them. So audience will also feel that you are talking about them, you are talking to them. Just imagine that you are talking to somebody, you are talking to your friend, or you are talking to anybody else, any relative, any guest, and that person is not looking at you. How would you feel? You would definitely feel that I am being ignored. So you need to look at the audience. You need to keep an eye contact. Speak clearly. You need to speak clearly. You don't need to be very fast. You need to pronounce each and every word clearly so that people can hear you clearly. And you need not to be, your volume should be loud enough that everyone can hear you. And so you need to check the pronunciations of the words as well. If there is some word which is technical and which is going to be repeated in your presentation several times, so it is recommended, highly recommended, that you check its pronunciation carefully. Then you need to engage your audience. Actually, in fact, you need to plan your presentation while keeping in mind the audience. So somebody said, David Phillips said, that designing a presentation without an audience in mind is like writing a letter and addressing it to whom it may concern. So I'm sorry, it is not said by David Phillips, it is said by Ken Hammer. So look at this one, that if you are just writing a letter, writing a love letter, and you are addressing it to whom it may concern. If you are you don't know that to whom your love letter should go. So when you have to you have to present, you should know that who your audience is, whom you are addressing, so that you know their needs, so that you present the material according to their level, not according to your own interest only. You need to be according to you need to bring yourself at the level of the audience. The next point is that answer questions at the end. You need to answer the questions at the end. You can answer in the beginning or in the middle as well. Obviously you cannot answer in the beginning, so you can answer in the middle or you can answer in the end. You have two options. Being a new presenter, it is recommended that you take questions at the end, and you can introduce about your questioning strategy in the introductory part of your presentation. We had discussed this in our first lecture as well, that in the introductory session you should tell your audience whether they can ask questions in the end or they can just interrupt you in the middle. You would have seen that many teachers tell you that you can just interrupt them in the middle and ask questions anytime, and you can some say that you can ask questions at the end of the lecture. So since if you are a new presenter, you can ask that questions will be at the end, because if you are interrupted, if you don't know the answer to any question, then it might cause you lose your confidence. You may lose your confidence, or you may get disturbed, you may be diverted because of some irrelevant question as well. So it is recommended that you ask the audience to have questions, that you tell them that you will have questions in the end. Learn from your experience. So at the end of each presentation, it is recommended to write at least one good thing and one bad thing. You can write more, of course, but you should write it. So the things that you disliked about your presentation that day, and the things that were good. Or you can ask somebody else, some good friend, to tell about your good and bad points of your presentation. Then you can listen to good presentations as well. A lot of presentations of effective speakers are available on internet. You can listen to the presentations which are effective. You can listen to the presentations of famous public speakers, famous motivational speakers, and see that what strategies they are adopting to involve their audience, to make their presentations effective. It is going to also help you a lot. So here are the references from where the data has been taken. So this book, Effective Presentation Skills, A Practical Guide for Better Speaking, it is really a good book. It is downloadable as well. I recommend you guys to read this book. Some of the data has also been taken from studentlearningtcd.ie. So dear students, in the end I would like to say that communication works for those who work at it. So if you really want to be a good presenter, if you really want to polish your presentation skills, improve your speaking skills, then you need to work at it. So on whichever skill you will work harder, that will obviously be polished, and you will see the results. So best of luck. In our second lecture on presentation skills, we will have some more tips. So thank you very much. Best of luck.